Hey everyone, George here and welcome back to the channel. So today I wanted to talk to you about one of the most common questions that I am asked, and is how do you put a nice Betta tank together on a good budget that is beautiful and sustainable and easy to take care of. And the thing that I tell everybody is it's not hard to do. Now I have two examples here of tanks that I have put together for friends where they were gracious enough to allow me to come back after 5 to 7 months and look at their tanks to see how they're doing, and they're doing absolutely amazing because they're following the instructions that I gave them. Now, what I would tell you these tanks are made up of is, first of all, when you look at the substrate in this particular tank, you have a dark substrate with a lighter stone, and when you look at the other tank that you'll see in a minute here, it is a lighter substrate with a darker stone. That gives contrast. That helps with the beauty of these tanks. It's not real sophisticated. If you look at both of these tanks, they have a minimal amount of plants in there. As you can see in this one, the other one does not have this, but there are some crypts that are buried into what is just a rounded off gravel that's very nice. And then there is some anubias in here and a piece of wood, and that is really it, other than the 3 pieces of lava rock. Now, when I put these together, I always look at the golden ratio or the rule of thirds, and that is to look at the way you are going to see the scape as you look at it straight on, and that is to be able to see a sense of depth to it. How you get that illusion is by having no more than 3 rocks in a tank this size. If you go with an even amount of numbers, then it throws it off a little bit. So you don't want to do that. So 2 of the rocks should be larger in the back and a smaller one in the front that sort of slopes down. Same thing with the substrate. You should have a lower amount of substrate in the front and have it work its way up to a higher level in the back to give it that sense of depth. It's not rocket science. It's not really hard to do, but there are some disciplines that go along with it. Some of these plants are glued to the rocks with a very friendly super glue that is used for aquariums that will not harm your fish, and they'll stay there forever. These plants do not need to be rooted. They will grow basically by just having the nutrients in the water. So you do have to make sure that you are occasionally putting some fertilizers in there of some kind. I'm not going to get into all that because this is going to be a short video and we're not going to talk about that today. But as you can see in this particular instance, we have some anubias. We have a little bit of moss tucked into the rocks, but we also have some bucephalandra in the back, which really helps this to have some beautiful color to it, some bronzy, purplish color that adds something to it because the fish has those colors in it, and it really makes it pop. So when you are putting these together, think about the surroundings and what the fish is going to look like. Both of these are Betta koi, or koibetta, I should say, because they are the most beautiful that I've ever seen. They are also usually pretty good community fish. In other words, they can be used in community tanks. I don't recommend that you do that unless you know that fish very well, because you can have a mess on your hands if you're not careful. So really there's not a lot to this. One of the things that you have to do is discipline yourself, however, and make sure that you are doing 50% water changes once a week. That's not a lot to ask. It takes about 15 minutes out of your week to keep this tank in top-notch shape. If you're showcasing it in a part of your home where everyone's going to see it, I recommend that you do that and be very disciplined about it, because water changes are a lifeline to keeping your fish and your tank in a very good shape. Now, both are using PISCES type filtration all-in-one systems that come off the AQUATOP line, and they do have a 3-stage system of ceramic, carbon, and sponge, and they're very adaptable. They don't have to be with the tanks that they came with. You can use these on any tank that's up to 10 gallons, as long as the glass is not too thick. All of these tanks, or the two of these tanks that you're looking at, are both low iron as well. Anyways, I wanted to thank you for joining me today. I hope this helped you to understand how to put together a really nice bettafish tank on a budget that's beautiful and easy to maintain. Please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your comments. I love to interact with you guys, and also share with your friends. Thank you again for joining me. We will see you on the next one. We got some great stuff coming up, and I can't wait to see you again. Talk to you soon. One thing I did forget, and I want to quickly mention, is there is a compartment inside these AQUATOP PISCES series filtration systems to fit a small heater for a bettafish. These are tropical fish just like any other, and it is very necessary that you keep their temperature between 78 and 80 degrees, and always keep a lid on top of them. Thank you for joining me. I wanted to make sure you knew that. Talk to you soon. If you are feeling depressed or suicidal, please call the National Suicide Prevention Helpline at 800-273-8255. Your life does matter.